Good evening. You're listening to the first episode of a brand new version of my podcast that started in 2004. So that's 15 years ago. I decided at this point to focus purely and strictly on hardcore, devious game seduction technique and to pass on a wealth of knowledge at that level.
Tom from Vegas.
Hey, Tom, glad you made it. So this is the brand new version. In a moment, I'll open the floor for questions. We start tonight with some of the core premise of the teachings of Casanova. Part of it is a legend. Part of it, the person actually existed. And credit again to Frank White, who has connected me with that energy. The premise is take nothing logically or literally from women. I repeat, take nothing literally or logically from women. Otherwise, it creates an immediate deviation where you're trying to fix a problem that's false to start with. Okay? So don't let them lead you in their own frames. Now, it's always no matter what angle we choose to tackle, handle, and master game, we tend to not do enough initially out of our concern that they may not like it. So you need to raise the bar and have a higher standard when it comes to making sure that your game is not approval-based. I repeat, make sure that your game is not approval-based. Approval-based causes you to not be true to you. It's a deviation right away. So then you are being
not to interrupt. Vince, are you near the speaker? Because I can barely hear you.
So how do you know if you're still stuck in approval game? Any concern that you may say something or do something and that she may not like it is an indication that your game is still approval-based. So what's the opposite of approval-based game? It's a form of game in which you are testing, teasing, and conditioning girls. Testing simply means you don't care whether she likes you or not. You care about whether or not you are beyond, of course, the flesh, enjoying. Or if you are impressed, we reverse the frame. It's not only you impressing her or having the false impression that you should impress her is, are you impressed by what she's given? Are you empowered? Are you enriched by it? Are you stimulated beyond just your dick? Are you also mentally, emotionally, spiritually stimulated by what she's saying? So you're testing her. You're the one running the shit test. You're the one running it. Teasing, talk those things at her. Constantly put her back in place. And then also conditioning, meaning you may not dump the whole thing at once on her, but you need to make it clear that what is dear to you, you're not going to compromise yourself for a woman.
Vince, I can't really hear you. The sound's coming in kind of soft and slow.
Share as many openers with continues with pistols as possible. Game bits that are pure gold that to me I take for granted because I've been playing with those things for now over 2 decades. But for you, might still be new or might be of tremendous value. Oftentimes I toss a little game bit and somebody goes, oh my God, you got more of that stuff. And I go, I got so much. Understand, please, gentlemen, I'm very appreciative of you joining this first episode, that in order to do that, you got to toss situations like me and questions so it can stimulate the answers that you are looking for. Nevertheless, in connecting with Casanova frequency and energy, the one thing that is coming up again and again is that Casanova was a man who would love women. We don't deny that. So on one hand, you just acknowledge right now as you are listening, with no apology, in a day and age where men are being encouraged to apologize for their own core God-given wiring. What kind of shit is that? So you're aware that, of course, you're going to get triggered by beauty. Of course, it's going to lure you in. Of course, you're going to be enticed by beauty. That's normal. We're not denying that. You honor it more, and you honor it in greater ways, meaning you want to get it. That's the bottom line. You want to get it. Stop teasing yourself. For most people, it's a matter of rewiring. The elements are there, but they're not going in the right direction. Too many guys are teasing themselves instead of teasing women. Too many guys are dotting themselves instead of dotting women. So it's all backwards, and we need to do this. But on the other hand, and not in a way new in the community, we didn't really have game. There's been so many wannabe pickup coaches who would go, well, it's not so much about game, it's really about having your life together. Well, first, why wouldn't you have your life together? So to bind ourselves into thinking it's not about this one, it's about that one, it's ridiculous. It's about both. Full force. Have lethal, killer game. And for most,
hey, you sound muffled.
Awareness, a lot of misconceptions and too many gaps. Way too many fucking gaps. So we need to fill those gaps and have a greater conception of what pure game really is. And on the other hand, you need to know that you honor yourself first. Meaning, women are a byproduct and they're a great, wonderful plus. They're not an either or, but you should not compromise yourself in any way, in any reason. And most likely what you most love. So I count on you. We're not depending on it. For me, I could teach 3 entire weeks without a script and deliver pure gold non-stop, even if no one was around at the same time, take the time. So what questions, game-related questions, would you have A to Z, meaning from opening to closing or any of that stuff? So I open the floor for questions now. A couple of you are muted. If you need to unmute yourself, you simply press *6. In the meantime,
yeah, Vince, we're having trouble hearing you, man. There's something wrong on your end, because me and another guy having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I can hear whoever that is besides Vince. I can hear you fine. I can't
Yeah.
hear Vince.
Okay.
From someone that you I'm not hearing anything. There, we're back. Okay. Good. Now I know you guys can hear me. All right. Good. Very good. I hope you guys could hear me well prior. Meanwhile, what questions would you have?
Hey, Vince, it's Justin Robertson. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Big fan of yours. I'm glad I just found this podcast, actually, just scrolling through my feed not too long ago. But I've got a little bit of anxiety right now. I'm not going to lie. I used to not have it so much in my town and when I was a little bit younger. But it's kind of came back since I've moved to a new town. I've been in this new town for about a month, and then so I'm just wondering what's the best thing to go out, because I'm going out, but I'm not doing actual approaches. I'm getting some approaches. I got a stripper's phone number the other day. The text conversation's not going so well. So how do I get out more? What should I be doing in a new town?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the first thing that you should do, which is quite common to all of us, is don't make it so new. Okay? Don't make it so new. I see it myself, in all honesty. If I start to tell myself a little bit of a different story, or if I buy into somebody else's fucking story, might be a girl, might be somebody who goes, you know, or if let's say I'm invited to a very special event. I remember about 4 weeks ago, a known film director in Hollywood invites me to this big event. And I'm grateful for the invitation. I'm like, okay, no problem, let's go. And then he starts to prep me, go, yeah, but you know, none of this, and watch out, and this and that. And upon arrival, I noticed that I wasn't feeling as free and flowing as I would normally. So just notice it. Stop telling your story, the story you were telling yourself. I urge you, for you, okay? We're free to say whatever we want to ourselves or anybody else. I really genuinely urge you, for you, that you stop the story with the new town, okay? Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, if we're truthful with ourselves, we've been interacting with other humans from the moment we were born, okay? And as little kids, we were master persuaders. We used like all sorts of simple techniques, but we used them well, crying, this and that. So I would say you just observe. Anxiety is not a thing. It has a structure, a formula, a fabric. So usually we struggle the most with emotions when we start to have an emotion about an emotion. So if we start to go, oh, shit, I'm a little anxious, that's the beginning of the end. It's getting worse. It's like, stacking dynamite on top of a fire. But if instead you go, oh, well, you know, it's kind of new, and you kind of negotiate with yourself. It's the art of seducing yourself. Seduction starts within. How do we know we're properly seducing ourselves? If we are moving a little more freely forward, we're probably moving in the correct direction. Anytime that we feel something is a little off, we're probably moving in the wrong direction at the level of how we seduce ourselves. Next two things. You need supply and skills. Supply and skills. See, it's awesome that you have that number with the stripper. I didn't get if they're related, if you got a phone number from a stripper or if it's somebody else. But I wouldn't worry about the person responding or not until you increase the supply. You know, with my top guys, any texting question they may have, my question to them would be, how many phone numbers did you gather last week? Now, ideal, I think if you're serious about game, you do 30 numbers a week. Now, it gets so difficult to get a number and do something with it if we make it too significant. But I promise you, in this day and age, it's so fucking easy. You hand her your phone and you simply say, here, enter your number. And even before she tells you, oh, I can, and so on, you go, and you know what? Anyway, you can block it anytime you want. And you make it seem like there shouldn't even be any thought of, like, what if she doesn't give her number or any of that, because that's what leads them in that direction. And if strangely the woman goes like, oh, no, but I don't know this and that, you laugh at her. And it's not a mean laugh, but you go, you're adorable. You put your arm around her lightly. Okay? You look a little bit away, so it's not the arm is around her, and now you're looking at her. That's a little too much pressure for her. And you go, you're adorable, 2019. And you don't give your number away. Wow, you must be very popular on social media. And then if they go, my Facebook, my email, you go, no, I save that for other matters. For you, texting. Simple. So,
right, absolutely.
Here's the essence of the teaching of. No, go for it, please.
Oh, no, I was just hoping I was staying on topic from earlier because I missed the first part and I just chimed in when there was technical difficulties. So is this just an open discussion or did you have a topic matter? I apologize.
No. The overall goal is to make your impression of game easier and more impactful. So we are fulfilling our purpose right now. And I really appreciate I really appreciate the fact that you voice that. See, you have it in you. Now, you gave us the answer. You have it in you. One other gold nugget right here is that initially, if I look back at doing game about, let's say, 1998, okay, that's a long time ago, or even, let's say, 1999, so we say it's 20 years ago, or even 2009, it was a little understandable back then that we would not reveal as much. I'm going to mute 430 for a second because we hear you quite loud on the line, if you don't mind. You can always unmute yourself. So there was a gap where in your mind you kind of knew what you were doing and you wouldn't voice too much. But right now it's essential that you do not avoid to verbalize what you're experiencing. Now you must master communication. So be certain that you verbalize it in a way that's superior. Yeah? Key to attraction is always the same thing. Whatever stands out a lot from the rest will automatically attract. So you stand out in all possible directions. So I very much appreciate the fact that right there you thought, hey, maybe I was off topic, and you stated it. Okay? So in your interactions with women, it's a full sense of being the cool guy to take that route of, hey, that's cool, something bothered me, but I didn't really say it. Just simply say it. Supply, and then skills. Sharpen them, acquire them, sharpen them, and really become lethal at using them. So if it's been a while or it's a new territory, it's a beautiful time to dive in again, massive bombard with the material. And it makes you feel more fully equipped. But right there, the question has been answered. Don't listen to that story. See, when you listen too much to your own stories, it's hard to get people to listen to your stories. And you will buy into their stories. I repeat, when you listen too much to your own story, unless it really empowers you, then it's not easy to get people to listen to your story. And then you're most likely to buy into their stories. So right there, you're a human amongst human. Kill it. Have fun. If the first few numbers are not really happening, it's, again, you're lacking supply. Because we treat it differently. Imagine, for me, I always lack that feeling of a total frame reversal. I have so many open threads with girls that it's unmanageable. Unmanageable. Reach that place where it's unmanageable. So automatically, a girl that with whom you had said, hey, we'll see, maybe we hang out this weekend, suddenly it's Monday and you realize, oh, fuck, I forgot to text her. And you don't have to pretend to think about her and go, maybe I should wait until Monday. No. It happens automatically.
That's from Matt.
Good. Okay, so next question. Thank you again.
Hello. Hey, Vince. How you doing?
Awesome.
Hello.
So what is your question? Yeah, I can hear you. What's your question?
Yeah, so I came across a unique experience for myself. There's this girl who, this first time this has happened, like a girl treats me to like a really, really amazing dinner, invites me out to a festival, and I'm like, but it's funny, I don't quite, it's just an interesting circumstance. I'm not sure how to handle, because she introduces me to like all her friends and stuff and says we're friends, but and then I guess I'm kind of in this place where now I'm choosing quality, and there's like I'm seeing the flaws, like she smokes and stuff, and for me I don't find that attractive, so I'm kind
of so I got 4 things going on already for you. 4 things going on to help you, and I'm happy to interact a little more with you in just a second. Okay. One of the gifts that I want to bring to you guys with this new angle from the podcast, we tackled the angle of self-relation through Aphrodite for some time. Okay. We've had the real kings of pickup. Now, the new angle is have an edge, and I'm going to point out quite a bit of invisible stuff. I want to equip you also with killer skills. So, if we backtrack, you got to become the kind of man, because prior to anything, Casanova was an adventurer, a Renaissance man. Many don't know that at some point the only way he could re-enter a country that he really loved was to make a deal to agree to go under a different identity and serve as a spy. Okay? So those were not the days of James Bond. It was different. But basically, he took on the role of a James Bond of the time. Sure, we always think Casanova, the guy who was betting all those women. So to be able to do that, imagine Casanova going, well, but I had a new experience this weekend. I was a spy. So new place, new location, a situation, a setting that you have never handled that way before. First, don't lie yourself too much, because there's always elements that existed elsewhere. We got to watch out. Sometimes we're so extreme, we present it to ourselves and others like it never happened before, when in fact, it's not the first time that somebody's treating you in a way that surprises you. Maybe it wasn't a woman, maybe it was a family member, and so on. So you kind of already are used to that, and you've been alive, and you guys didn't go to a festival, and you looked around like an alien seeing a different planet for the first time. All right? So don't overly emphasize unless it serves you. Okay? So in seduction, when we're the one enticing, maybe we dramatize, and we go, and you know what? The most unique experience. Never, ever in my life can I say it ever happened. So, of course, now everybody's going to be, what? What was it? But to yourself, don't do that. Okay? So that's the first thing, is you strengthen the existing muscle. It's an attitude muscle of being the renegade, being the rebel, being the adventurer, and to you, nothing is ever new. You know, you travel, you show up different city, different country, different setting, and that's it. That's life. So it's not that you're not doing that. The idea is to be aware of doing that even more. Okay, so nurture that. It's super sexy. It's super helpful. It gives you an edge, and it gives you an edge with other men as well, because we live in a day and age where men will rapidly become pussies for the smallest, simplest little things. And that's all of us. So we got to watch out. Okay? Then it's essential, I said a moment ago, to be clear from the get-go. We fear doing that because we're afraid that we may miss out because of it. So right now, any invite that I would get from a girl, and to not become the type of guy who go, but is it going to be just you and me, or what are your intentions? You don't want that, of course. So I reverse the frame a little bit, and I use humor. And I be, so sweetheart, what's it going to be? 152 male friends, and you want to add me, but the problem is if you add me, I'll be number one. So tell 152 that is going to be number 153. Or tell all the other ones that they're going one number below because there's a new number one. Ha, ha, ha. And now, what if indeed the girl was like, oh, no, but it's not at all that. I just want to be your friend. So then you can check in with yourself and go, is this worth it to me? And I go, whoa, but we need to first define friend. Even if you decided you only wanted to be a friend with a woman, and it's not just somebody you see and you go, oh, fuck it, here's that chick, let's have fun, I don't care about her. You need to set some boundaries, even in friendship, okay? But we all overly seek for others to approve of us, and we, more than we know it, act a little bit like pleasers. Or we go extreme and we become unpleasant. You know, you have the guy that for years he took shit from women. He would just constantly not put the brakes, and suddenly he hears be alpha, and now he turns to the next sweet girl that is a little bit curious about him, and he starts to go, yeah, and I want multiple women and this. No, see, it's not being pleasant and being a pleaser are two different things. We reduce being a pleaser and we become even more pleasant. But we are pleasant not to please others. We're pleasant because it's pleasant to us. So Clarify from the get-go in any way you do it, but don't overdo it. See, there's a couple little pitfalls right there if you become more blunt with your game. It shouldn't be rigid. So meaning you cannot go back to doing the same thing in a new direction, and suddenly the guy that was obsessing, hey, what should I text the girl? Should I go? Should I not go? Now his new obsession becomes like, okay, I should just be blunt and tell her, okay, sweetheart, what is it? A date? You and me? You going to propose? Or this is just a casual gathering with a whole bunch of people? Or is it an orgy? Ha, ha, ha. Okay? And we toss a bit more at people to see how much can they take. And if they cannot take much, we tell them. And that's the seduction. The seduction is not with things that are not there. The seduction is to take whatever is there within you, around you, and to start to play with that. Because what eludes most men is that the pickup or the seduction is your way to relate with what is happening. And it's never really in a literal manner. Also, see, seduction is not really literal. It's more emotional. And it's not really something that's logical. It has its own logic. But here's what I mean by that. Many men may think that, okay, to properly seduce this girl, I need to show up there the right way, and should I go this way? What should I do? Do I like her? Do I not? They think that's the seduction. The real seduction could even be that you tell her, you know what? I'm totally turned off by the cigarette. And I hear your lungs crying right now. Why do you do that? On the other hand, look at those hair. They look so soft. I'm going to talk to your hair. I'm sorry that you smoke. You would smell so good otherwise. Hey, seriously though, I'm a fitness trainer, and not in a way because people make their own choices. But for me, if I'm going to be with someone, the scent is essential. And I just cannot stand the thing. So I'm not going to be the guy who tells you like, oh, okay, so you're a non-smoker right now. But if you and we're together for a while, I bet you those things are going to go. But I'm simply going to tell you that I don't know. Plus already you invited me, and there's all those people there. So either be more clear with me and tell me really what's up, or find better ways to seduce me. See, that's the seduction right there. You understand? That's the pickup. That's the attraction. The playing with it in any direction. So let that door be open in your own consciousness, because that's the next level. See, one of the reasons why I wanted to revamp the podcast is because we need to peel off some layers for everybody. Okay, and I'm a pioneer, and I'm the adventurer, and I'm a crazy scout with the crazy hair that goes extreme to be able to tell almost like to the rest of the army, okay, those mountains over there seem pretty safe right there, watch out, and I've seen a couple ambushes over there. So right now what I can say is that a lot of the questions we had in prior renditions of the podcast were omitting elements. It was dating under the false impression, or pick up wrapped up into dating. Next, if the girl introduces you as a friend, whenever a girl, I'm going to mute 530 because we hear you a lot, if you don't mind. Unmute yourself only when you're asking a question. I appreciate it. So hear this. This is the direction where I want this to go. Gentlemen, if you only get what I'm going to say tonight, and you play with that for a whole week, and we add to it next week or in between for all of those who are members of Aphrodite Sprints, daily check-in, anything else that we have, or the Army of Aphrodite. So here it is. When a girl tosses a demeanor towards you, one option, not the only one, along with other aspects, is you further downgrade it to her detriment. So if I'm with a girl, and suddenly in front of other people, she goes, oh, this is my friend, I go, whoa, slow down. She's always like that. Friends, we're barely getting acquainted. She proposed the other day, but I refused. Now, the problem would be if you didn't do that with her prior, to do it in front of people, might make her feel like, wow, he's a loose cannon. So So the greater and higher solution is from the get-go. Say it as it is and know that we need to eliminate the reference of anxiety. Anxiety is a byproduct that has a structure. Truth is we're all going to encounter throughout the day a variety of density of anxiety. Chances are, let's say, you had a peaceful moment at home, or you feel fresh, you have a good workout, and then you venture in the world to work or to run errands, and you do pick up as you commute and so on. Even if it's brief, 30 minutes, an hour, or a quick walk to the store, you come back, a little anxiety has built within, exposure to people, faces you've not seen, places, and so on. So there's a structure to it. It's trigger-based, but that is not the real issue. When guy goes, oh, the anxiety and so on. A more pressing matter, the true pressing matter is scarcity. Scarcity, okay? And don't start a whole new generation of pick-up artists that are constantly going to go, yeah, my problem is scarcity. But know that we compromise the self and we don't present ourselves freely and truly when we fear not having or not having enough or not having very good or not having much. So that is why from the get-go you don't go, sweetheart, I appreciate the invite. Seems fun. Now, what's the dynamic here? You vague. She's going to be, what do you mean the dynamic? If she doesn't respond, that's her problem. But oftentimes the girl does not respond. You know why? Because there wasn't enough of an impact initially. Because we lack impact. Imagine if, for example, you lower your volume on your phone. Okay? Imagine right now you're at 100% or however it would measure, and you start to lower it. There's nothing wrong with the phone. There's nothing wrong with what you're hearing or what you're saying. It's just the volume is too low. So oftentimes when you start your interaction, not in reference to volume per se of your speech, but your overall angle. Why? Because you apologize too much. Because you are still bound into the silly reality that on one hand you are a disgusting player who's only thinking with your dick, and on the other hand you should be in a relationship, and neither one feels like it's connecting to you. How do we know? Because here's the core problem. Notice how you're filtering. Yes, you have high standards. So if you have high standard, you have higher standard at the level of whom you're going to hang out. So you pick, okay, I want women that are like this, like that. Then it's a matter of where will there be the greatest supply of those types of women, okay? And then whenever you encounter those women, full force, and you sort through them pretty fast, and you line them up. Otherwise, you shouldn't be hanging out with any women that are not giving you what you want. Also, I would urge you to bring the element. This is Casanova's podcast right there. Have a bottom, but I don't think that if you take that girl, that's a smoker, and you get her to give you a hand job or a blow job, okay, I don't think that you're married with her and that it will jeopardize you in any way. In our own nature, we got to learn how to be more honest with ourselves as men, because one of three things will happen. We're either going to feel so sexually deprived that we'll end up jeopardizing ourselves. If you knew the amount of clients that suddenly tell me like they went across the border here in LA and they went to get hookers in Mexico or some silly things like this. Or you're going to do it with porn. And I've yet to recall a time when I watched porn and the next morning I felt like I wanted to high-five everybody and I walked taller than ever. And people ask me, how was your evening last night? Man, I watched the best porn ever. I had such a great time. Look at my hand. Wow, I came so hard 3 times. No, okay? Or you're going to end up with being with a girl that's not fulfilling you completely. Why? Because you listen to your own stories that tell you that you are to find just the right girl first. If you are interested in game and seduction, safe sex is essential. You need condoms, and you cannot compromise that. You should never let a girl talk you into, oh, but I'm taking the pill or this or that. That's wonderful. You do the pill, I do condoms. Wow, we're on the same page. We're fully equipped, double the protection. We're going to call it D2, double protection. Yeah? So something funny like this. Never let a girl talk you into not using a condom. No matter what the reason, I feel it more. Never let yourself talk yourself into not using a condom. Oh, I don't like condoms. I like the raw feeling. Oh, I've known her for a while and so on. The only time when you stop doing that is when you decide I want to have a baby with that girl. And if that thought comes to your mind, that is what you want to do, give it 30 days. So you check in under different seasons and conditions of yourself to see if really that's what you fucking want. If that's what you want, then fine. Okay? So I would recommend that, the real debate is, are you doing seduction or not? What are you doing with this girl or going there if there is no interest initially? And then know that through time you will encounter women with whom you may build relations through time. That's our next topic. In 2 weeks from now, I'm doing a pickup artist way to build relationships, plural. Okay? I'm actually, anybody that's on the call right now, if you want to participate, it's 2 parts, 2 4-hour parts, HD recording, live stream, and so on. We're at 33 for the regulars if you want to. Just let me know, but that's at the time of the recording tonight. But other than that, then you go back to, I'll pass it back to you. So I think we've established quite a few parameters of that. I'll pass it back to you. What's up?
Yeah, that was great. My main thing was, for some reason inside of me, I feel obligated to, because you always talk about reciprocity. So I wanted to treat her to a dinner as well. And I actually I've already made
prior to that. Why?
In a way, personally, I feel I could definitely go with her if I wanted to. Like, we've already made out. Like, we were actually in the same bed at the festival, but we just didn't we just made out. But I felt kind of obligated in a way. I was like, but at the same time, inside, I kind of wanted to return the.
Okay. So notice the word obligation. Let's study that word for a second. Do you feel that the word obligation is a very organic way to honor something?
Definitely not. No.
It's a bit of a deception. It fits in the category of deception. I'm obligated. I don't really want to, but I should. Now, a bright man like you, or I'm assuming you're listening. That's an indication right there. When we feel, I feel obligated. That is a total indication in that moment. Whenever you feel like I feel obligated, that's an indication that you're not operating from your true core, from your heart. I really want to spend more time with this girl, or I want her for me. I want to share that experience with that girl. Other than that, it's either cultural or social falseness. It's when that begins, that kind of stuff, that begins the moment people put conditions on us because they don't know how to persuade others in better ways. And we all tend to do it, and it's been done to us. So right there, if you got to decide if you really want to thrive long term with women, and it's not an easy thing, okay? But if you want to thrive long term with women, number one prerequisite, you need to put yourself first. Because any time that you put a woman first, okay? Let's say you suddenly you're with a girl, and you put her first. That in traditional psychology is called codependency. Then the girl could leave, the girl could cheat, the girl could not live up to your expectations. So if she does not live up to your expectation, or her life is not your expectation, and you put her first, that means that you're lowering the quality of your life and your own experience. Or she could die. To me, it happened. Yep. So right now, I don't believe in an either or. So if my heart feels like, wow, this is strong, what I feel for this girl, if suddenly I feel, you know what, I want some fucking company right now, then I will not hold back. But what comes next is syntax, which is one of the most essential gifts of Casanova. Casanova was a womanizer, or I don't know if we can use that word. It didn't resonate when I said that. I think it was much more than that. But he was with a lot of women. But he was a man who did not put that less. See, one equation would be, well, I'm busy with my business, so I'm not doing much with girls. He did more than anybody else, but never putting his affairs second. By affairs, we also mean you. So now, if you really want to thrive with women, number one, at no point do you ban your own stuff to please a woman. That's the false impression of courtship that is detrimental to women long run as well. You want to ruin the life of, no, you want to ruin femininity. You want to really negatively impact a woman. It's the exact same thing than if you want to mess up the life of a child that's going to be an adult. What is the fastest way to mess up somebody's growth? Do it all for them. Never call them on their bullshit and take their bullshit. If a coach did that, he would not render the person a service. You know? And that's not what you would want others to do to you. So you cannot do that to a woman. Because the women that come and are a little bit in violation, so to speak, okay? Let's say a woman that wouldn't have the presence of mind that way that guy spoke to me and was looking at me, it's obvious that he's got something going on for me. Now, I'm free to like that or not, but I probably shouldn't put him in a situation where there's another guy. So it's him and that other guy. I shouldn't do that. That wouldn't be very cool because I wouldn't like for a guy to tell me, yeah, come, baby, and so on, and without him telling me there's going to be another girl, suddenly there's another girl, and zero explanation. That wouldn't be cool. So what causes women to do things like that? Or I heard a silly story where someone was asking, a girl was asking a guy to, before they slept together, to pay for one of her bills, and they never slept together. You know, who causes that? What causes that? Is it in the nature of women? No, otherwise we wouldn't like them so much. It's guys that came before that pollute them, okay? Some girls are a little bit rotten, but what made them rotten was the guys that came before that were fucking pleasers. Now, the essence of the gift of Casanova also is to really do seduction, to really have more sex, you need to embrace an edge that at first will feel very, very strange because it is discouraged. You need to also clarify, we're in no means, disclaimer, no means suggesting for men to be pushy. On the contrary, if you have supply, your pushiness goes away. We're suggesting be sharp, be strong, and honor thyself. Okay? So that also means you got to have an edge, and here's the better equation. With that girl, have the little dinner that you wanted be the reward for great sex. Now notice what that's going to do to you or to most people listening to this right now. It's going to frighten you a little bit. And here's our core challenge. We run away from that. We want to mask it and we bullshit ourselves and we misseduce ourselves. To me, one essential ingredient to know if you're really in doing pickup, if you really have game and so on. See, most have it backwards. They think that a level of anxiety should not be there and that it's only for the newbies. So you either have guys who spend the majority of their life going, oh, but I'm anxious, or you have those who go, well, I don't have anxiety. I think that the superior way to approach it will be to be willing to experience the anxiety and turn it into a study so it reveals more of what you really, really needed to know. Okay? So you make your own choices, but if I were you in that situation, I would raise the bar first on your side. You say, here, you got to raise the bar on your side. And if you do that, the women will follow and they will jump higher for you. Oh, this is good. Somebody put that on Facebook. You got to raise the bar on your side. If you do so, women will jump higher for you. But if the bar is set low, they're not going to jump high. So you're setting the bar so high, so low that you're going to stumble on it. Next thing you report that, or let's say you're a good-looking guy. You go and you buy a little dinner, and at the end of the dinner, you guys have sex. That means that you could have had sex without the dinner. But now you condition the girl that it's dinner and sex. Okay? So how costly is that going to be through time? It's backward. It should be a reward. So raise the bar on your side and go, okay, I sleep with her, and then after that, from a new perspective, not out of obligation. And you got to also understand that the conditioning for men and women, I'm not going to say men or I'm not going to say women. The world needs to stop doing that. We need to observe the foolishness in the conditioning that has existed before and to free ourselves from it and embrace higher frames of consciousness. So women have been conditioned to receive and men have been conditioned to give. If you have a receiver and a giver, and then where is that going to go? Oh, so big surprise, she told you to go along. Well, that would be a great conversation. You know what? I'm curious about you. That was pretty cool the way you invited me. There's one of three reasons. Okay. One of them, sometimes girls, they will pay for the meal so they don't feel obligated. Is it so you don't feel obligated with me? Another reason is that, okay, you like to have a clique around you and friends like that. Why not? You should then also maybe see, I want to reciprocate. Okay? Get a couple of girls going and a couple other people and get her to come and see if she kisses you when you're around other girls. So, for the most part, what?
You're saying don't get dinner, don't buy the dinner, and then
No, you saying that. You saying that. I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought you said you shouldn't condition to get dinner and then go sleep together. Like you should.
Now, can you guys hear the difference between the two things that we said? I say don't condition, I buy to get. That's what I phrase. You say don't get the dinner. That's different. It's still the dinner or not, but we're dealing at two different levels. So be certain that you understand it's not the dinner or not that matters. What matters is this. What matters is that we compromise the order. In a way, almost like you ever did something silly. Were you ever so hungry that, let's say, maybe you're cooking something and you're so hungry that you need to let that simmer longer, but you just grab it out? How often have you violated your own diet because you were not prepared and you get hungry? So that's an example of violating the timing or the sequence because of excess neediness or a concern. So what we're saying is this. There's a proper sequence that leads to higher attraction, higher compliance, healthier relationships, greater things with women. And if we don't follow that, sooner or later, it's going to come back. Sooner or later, 2-3 weeks go by, and suddenly, you go to dinner twice with her, and the third time, she's kind of late, she's not that well dressed, and she bitches about the food. And now you knew 3 cool places to go in your area, and now you're desperately thinking about a 4th one. So now you become like a travel tour for her. So what we're saying first is become aware of the proper structure and why. Because if you don't understand why, you're going to go back to the old structure because the new structure doesn't make sense to you. Become aware of the better structure. There's 3 options with this girl. Okay? Either it was a little off, it was another reason, and dinner or not, you're not going to have sex, and not much at the intimate level will happen. Option number 2, she's kind of inclined for it. Option number 3, it's already in her mind, she wants it. Okay? So, think for yourself. Not having the dinner and having sex first works for all 3 in a superior way than having the dinner and hoping to have sex after. So what we're saying is come up with be aware of a greater structure and why. Second, choose to engage in that structure and watch what happens. Yes, it's going to make you aware of false conditioning, and it's going to make you a little more concerned. Don't run away from it. Let that serve you to let go of that, and also learn how to let go. See, you at some point you say, "Oh, I'm not sure because she's a smoker." That's pretty good, but you're probably doing it in a way where it's not pure. It's not true honesty. Okay, I think the real, like, I'm not sure about that girl will be, okay, let's see where it goes without a dinner. And don't be anal or extreme or rigid. When you go back to rigidity, you're moving away from pickup game and seduction. Okay? The only time when you would want to be rigid is if your immediate attention is required, and you got to go, no. Okay? You want to protect somebody from getting run over. So it would take some rigidity, and that rigidity would propel you to take massive action or the required action. Okay? Other than that, you could be all fluid. You could grab a little bite. You could tell her. I don't know. Today I went to this place, the 99-cent store, and there's one on Sunset here in Hollywood. That's absolutely phenomenal. So I've heard about this guy who said, we're going to go on the funniest, craziest, cheapest date ever. And he got to a dollar store with the girl, and he said, you have 10 minutes, and he gave her $1, and he asked her to give her $1. So they each had $1, 10 minutes to pick up the funniest, craziest, most unexpected gift for the other one. And it better be good, otherwise you got to buy me another one. Okay? So that doesn't mean that you should say, hey, listen, I only want to have sex with you and I don't want to go to dinner. We should go to my place. But remember also, true seduction. I'm a master of the art of getting a woman feel like, oh my God, that was absolutely incredible. I feel like we went to a different planet and we went on all different continents and 4 seasons went by, when in fact it was just an evening and it was one location, it was my place. And it wasn't even only my place. It wasn't me boosting my place and taking her to the best spots in my place. That's seduction. The rest is dating. Dating is costly. That was said over 20 years ago. You want to continue to do it? That's cool. Or adapt and really master the game. And that's what this new podcast is about. I'm contemplating also rotating them, having the Cosmic Code podcast, having the Real Kings of Pickup, having this one, and having the Aphrodite Prince as an idea. Do you remember the next thing we got coming up near us is the a pickup artist way into long-term relationship. We have our second yearly convention that's coming up, Elite Edition, the Cosmic Code, and that's coming up June 27, 8, 9, and 30th. And also, fastest way to find out about all those things is go to my brand new website. It's brand new, vincekelvin.com. Visit vincekelvin.com. I thank you, everybody, for this first episode of the brand new Sons of Casanova Pure Seduction podcast.